This ain't what you want.
Project,
This ain't what you want. This. She's in the block. I just wanna rock. I just wanna. Body out of ya. Shorty got that body out of ya.
One shot, game on the line. The crowd holding its breath. The superstar rises and bricks it. Silence. Because in the NBA, reputation is loud, but reality is louder. Every year, certain players are worshipped and some are overlooked. But in 2026, the gap between hype and truth has never been wider. Tonight, we expose both sides. The 20 most overrated and underrated NBA players of 2026. And trust me, some of these names will shock you. The 20 most overrated and underrated NBA players, 2026 edition. Stop. Before you argue in the comments, before you defend your favorite player, understand this. In today's NBA, hype spreads faster than highlights. One viral playoff run, superstar. One all-star appearance, untouchable. One bad stretch, exposed. Tonight, we're separating reputation from reality. These are the 20 most overrated and underrated NBA players in 2026. And yes, we're saying it clearly, overrated or underrated, no gray area. Let's begin. The most overrated, Tyrese Halliburton. Overrated. Halliburton is called overrated because expectations have exploded past production. He's an elite passer, a creative scorer, a franchise face. But once you start hearing MVP whispers, best guard in the East debates, and future face of the league talk, every efficiency dip feels massive. He's great, but in 2026, the hype machine may be moving faster than the results. That's why some call him overrated. Rudy Gobert, overrated. Gobert is labeled overrated because his defensive dominance doesn't always translate in the playoffs. Yes, he protects the rim at an elite level, but when teams force him into space, when guards drag him into pick and rolls, his impact can shrink. 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards come with heavy expectations, and when versatility is king in today's NBA, critics question if his value matches the accolades. Trae Young, overrated. Trae Young is called overrated because his offensive brilliance is matched by defensive vulnerability. He can drop 40, he can hit logo threes, but opponents hunt him relentlessly on defense. When you give up as much as you score, fans start debating your true impact. That's where the overrated narrative begins. Jimmy Butler, overrated. Butler is labeled overrated because his regular season production doesn't always match his playoff reputation. In April, he's terrifying. In January, he can disappear statistically. Some believe his legend is built almost entirely on postseason explosions. And when the regular season matters for seeding and consistency, critics question the gap. Bradley Beal, overrated. Beal is considered overrated because his contract and reputation outshine his current impact. He was once a 30-point scorer nightly, but injuries and role changes have reduced that dominance. When you're paid like a franchise star but perform like a secondary option, perception shifts fast. Draymond Green, overrated. Draymond is called overrated because some believe his greatness depends heavily on his system. His IQ is elite. His defense is brilliant. But critics argue his value looks different without Hall of Fame shooters around him. Add in suspensions and technical fouls, and some question whether his impact outweighs the chaos. Anthony Davis, overrated. Anthony Davis is labeled overrated because availability continues to be a major concern. When healthy, he's unstoppable. Elite defense, elite scoring, elite versatility. But health has consistently interrupted his dominance, and in 2026, durability is part of greatness. That's why some place him in the overrated category. Kristaps Porzingis, overrated. Porzingis is called overrated because flashes of brilliance haven't consistently become long-term dominance. He stretches the floor, he blocks shots, but injuries and inconsistency have prevented him from sustaining superstar impact. Potential has followed him longer than production. Zion Williamson, overrated. Zion is labeled overrated because potential still outweighs proven longevity. When he plays, he's unstoppable. But availability remains the issue. Fans have been waiting for a full dominant season. Until that happens, critics question whether the hype matches the resume. Tyler Herro. Herro is considered overrated because scoring bursts don't always equal winning impact. He can heat up instantly, but defense and playoff consistency are still questioned. When the spotlight gets brighter, expectations rise, and so does scrutiny. The most underrated, now we flip it. These are players who deserve more respect than they receive. Cade Cunningham. Underrated. Cade is underrated because his all-around game doesn't get enough national attention. He scores efficiently. He controls pace. He leads. But playing outside a major spotlight keeps his growth under the radar. His impact is bigger than the headlines. Derek White. Underrated. Derek White is underrated because he does everything that helps teams win, without flashy numbers. Elite perimeter defense, smart off-ball movement, clutch shot making. He's not loud, he's just effective. And that effectiveness wins playoff games. Nick Claxton. Underrated. Claxton is underrated because defensive versatility isn't celebrated enough. He switches onto guards, protects the rim, runs the floor. He won't trend on social media, but coaches love him because he changes defensive schemes entirely. Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Underrated. He's underrated because he embraces the hardest assignments nightly. Tough defense, improving offense, playoff-level intensity. Role players like him are crucial, yet rarely recognized. Isaiah Hartenstein. Underrated. Hartenstein is underrated because screens, rebounds, and interior presence don't show up on highlight reels. He anchors lineups quietly. He creates second chances. He stabilizes defensive possessions. Contenders value him more than fans realize. Sam Hauser. Underrated. Hauser is underrated because elite shooting plus defensive improvement makes him a system weapon. Spacing wins in today's NBA. And when he's on the floor, spacing expands dramatically. His impact stretches beyond the box score. Keontae George. Underrated. George is underrated because his breakout is building quietly. He's fearless, confident, improving as a shot creator. The league hasn't fully caught up to his development yet. Peyton Watson. Underrated. Watson is underrated because elite athletic wings with defensive upside are priceless in 2026. He guards multiple positions, finishes in transition, developing offensive consistency. He's closer to stardom than people think. Jalen Brunson. Underrated. Brunson is underrated because he lacks flashy athleticism, but dominates in clutch moments. He controls tempo, he hits big shots, he leads with poise. No viral dunks, just wins, and wins matter most. Overrated doesn't mean bad. Underrated doesn't mean unknown. It means perception doesn't fully match impact. And in a league fueled by highlights and hot takes, that gap grows every season. Some of these overrated names will silence critics. Some of these underrated players will explode into superstardom. That's what makes 2026 unpredictable. And that's why we watch. If you want more real NBA breakdowns, more debates, more truth behind the hype, make sure you subscribe to Hoops Extra for more. Because the next list, it might include your favorite player, and you won't want to miss it.